Everyone's just 2 o'clock moon.
We don't have Christopher? Oh, yeah, I do. He's
I like it. I like it. I'm expecting a, are you new too?
Are you new?
One of Gino's quotes. All right. Let's call to order the meeting for the Sparks City Council at 2/11/2019. And we'll start with a roll call. Madam Clerk. Can we go too fast? Or is she waiting? Oh,
All right, Mayor Smith. Sorry, Mayor Pro Tem Lawson.
here.
Councilmember Abbott.
Here.
Anderson.
Here.
Bybee.
Here.
Dare.
Here.
City Attorney Adams.
Here.
City Manager Driscoll.
Here.
We have a quorum, thank you.
Thank you. And now we'll have an invocation by Pastor Barb West.
Thank you so much. Would you bow with me in prayer? Our Heavenly Father, we come to you today to thank you for a beautiful day. Thank you for the blue sky and for the moisture that you're sending to us. And Lord, first of all, we would ask you if you would put a healing touch on Mayor Ron Smith. Help him, Lord, as he goes through these treatments and leads our city. And we thank you for Ed Lawson, who can lead us today. And Lord, bless each and every member of our city council. We are so thankful to have such a great group of people. And we pray as they do business for us at Sparks, they would have your wisdom to do so. Thank you for all of the things that are on the itinerary today. And we just pray that you would be with our school children and keep them safe. We pray over the EMTs and our police force and our fighter fires, and just tell you thank you that we have all of those people in place. And so we give you the praise and the honor today and ask you to be with us as we conduct your business in this great city that we call home, Sparks, Nevada. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. We remain standing for the pledge. Bill, you want to lead us in the pledge today?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. There's no comma there. Thank you. Okay, public comment. I have one card, Mr. Jeff Church.
Good afternoon, folks. You're right on time, 2 o'clock.
We pride ourselves on being on time.
Unlike those other folks.
We don't
Low blow.
know anything about them.
Good morning, or good afternoon, rather. My name is Jeff Church. I run a website, renotaxrevolt.com, and even though we're not in Reno, I invite you to take a look. Just 2 issues today. I want to talk about the homeless, and I want to talk about 2 recent U.S. Supreme Court decisions that affect the city of Sparks. At a recent meeting of the Homeless Board, the CHAB, the CHAB, whatever we call it, Commissioner Lucy indicated he was pessimistic about the org code survey, and I echo that. So I just bring it to your attention as leaders in the community. We need a town hall, we need a public forum, we need to get moving on the homeless, and that should involve all the participants. Org code comes to town for one day, meets with a couple people for a half hour, kind of like the panda, eats, shoots, and leaves, and $100,000 potentially down the drain. The next issue, you have a handout there, and it's for the Reno Downtown Business Improvement District. So why am I giving it to you? Because Washoe County voted to assess themselves, such as the downtown courthouse, to support the bid, Downtown Reno. In other words, that affects everybody in the county, including you folks. So I don't think the taxpayer should be subsidizing a downtown Reno business improvement district. And there's many, many legal issues. And the question I ask is, how do you get that toothpaste back in the tube after it's out? This is a new business improvement district. There's a number of cases, including the U.S. Supreme Court, which I'll chat about briefly. And so I would ask you maybe to have your city attorney look at it from your standpoint. Two decisions, 2018, Janus and Fleck. Both of them strongly indicate that the government can't support, or you can't ask the taxpayer to support, a 501c6 advocacy group. So when you go about your dealings as an excellent city council that you are, you may want to be aware of that. So when a 501c6, which is a advocacy, not a charitable group, comes to you and wants support with taxpayer money from the good citizens of Sparks, that you say, wait a minute, we better ask our city attorney about this because, again, getting that toothpaste back in the tube is difficult. So those are the two issues, and I appreciate your time, and have a wonderful day, and best wishes to Mr. Smith. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't have any other comment cards. Anyone else in the public wishing to speak at this time? All right, seeing none, we'll bring it back. Can I get approval of the agenda? Looking for a motion? Oh, I gotta look at the little deal. I'm new. Donald,
I'll move to approve the agenda as presented.
and second, Mr. Dare.
I second that.
Okay. Any further comments? Seeing none, please vote. Do I get a vote?
Oh, we gotta get his tablet.
I get to vote. I get to vote. Thank you. Thank you, sir. I still don't have a ability to vote. I'm gonna vote yay. Motion carries unanimously. Okay, minutes. Do I have any additions, corrections for the minutes of the last meeting for January 28th? Seeing none, looking for a, Christopher Dare,
I move to approve the minutes as they are.
Darlene Bybee.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any further conversation? All right, seeing none, please vote. Thank you. Motion carries unanimously. All right, announcements, presentation, and recognition items of special interest. Announcement of boards and commissions vacancy, the Airport Noise Advisory Panel. Mr. Driscoll?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. I have the following announcement related to the Airport Noise Advisory Panel. 2 members, which must be residents of the city. Persons interested in serving on this committee should complete a community service application available from the city clerk's office. You may also apply online at the city's website, www.cityofsparks.us. Click on Government on the webpage. Then under Boards and Commissions, click Volunteering for the Sparks Board or Commission, and fill out the online application and submit. Applications for this panel will be accepted until the close of business on Friday, March 1st, 2019, or until enough applicants have applied to fill the vacancies.
You want to take 7-2 also, or did you cover that?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Additionally, another announcement, following committee appointments are available. Civil Service Commission, 1 member for a partial term that would end on June 30th of 2021. A person may not serve on the commission as a member of this commission if he or she is A, an employee of the city, B, a member of the city council, or an appointed member of any other board, commission, or committee of the city, or C, related within the 3rd degree of consanguinity or affinity to a person who is an employee of the city. So persons that are interested in serving on this committee should complete the community service application available from the city clerk's office. You may also apply online at the city's website, www.cityofsparks.us. Click on Government on the webpage, then under Boards and Commissions, click Volunteering for Sparks Board or Commission, and then fill out the online application and submit. Applications will be accepted until the close of business on Friday, March 15th, 2019, or until enough applications have applied to fill the vacancies. And that's all I have, sir.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Driscoll. Okay, moving on to consent items. Do I want to take any out of order, or Ms. Bybee?
I'm ready to make a motion to accept consent items 8.1 and 8.2 as presented.
Mr. Abbott?
Oh, I'll second that.
Thank
Sorry.
you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. General business, 9.1, consideration, discussion, possible approval of the reimbursement to the City of Reno for the City of Sparks share of the contract with Nelson Electric Company, Inc. for the top deck lighting project at the Truckee Meadows Water Reclamation Facility, not to exceed $214,507.43. Please don't forget the 43 cents. Mr. Drinkwater.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, thank you so much. Excuse me, thank you much. Michael Drinkwater, Treatment Plant Manager. You have before you today a request to consider approving reimbursement to the City of Reno for this capital improvement project at Tumwharf. This project is to replace the lighting over the majority of the older portion of the plant, the aeration basins and clarifiers. The lighting is original equipment, it's substandard and actually consumes a lot of power. The new lighting will be twice the light for half the electricity and will greatly improve the safety and functionality of the area at night. This is the reimbursement. The City of Reno held the bid, and Nelson Electric was the lowest responsive bidder, and we're looking to reimburse them for a City of Sparks share. Happy to answer any questions.
Questions? Seeing none, looking for a motion. Ms. Bybee.
I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to make a motion with a comment. I would like to thank you for the, I think the cost savings is a positive for sure, but the security aspect of this, I think, is a good, is an added bonus for us. And so with that, I'd like to move to approve the reimbursement to the City of Reno for the City of Sparks share of the contract with Nelson Electric Company Incorporated for the top deck lighting project at Tumwharf in an amount not to exceed $214,507.43.
Mr. Abbott.
And I'll second that with a quick comment. Just the safety, I think, is very important now. It's quite dark there at night, and I don't think we want any of our personnel getting hurt, so it's a good investment. So, good stuff.
Any other conversation, comments? Seeing none, please vote. Okay, motion carries unanimously. On to 9.2, consideration, discussion, and possible approval to reject one responsive bid for the synthetic turf replacement of softball infields 10 through 14 due to insufficient funding. Mr. Kaysen.
Good afternoon, Mayor and members, or Mayor Pro Tem and members of the City Council. For the record, my name is Brian Kaysen, Capital Projects Manager for the City of Sparks. I'm here today to request approval to reject one responsive bid for the publicly bid synthetic turf replacement project, which included fields 10 through 14, the infields of fields 10 through 14 at Golden Eagle Regional Park. One bid was received and opened on January 3rd, 2019 in the amount of $717,250, which was 60% over the engineer's estimate and available budget. Staff is reviewing potential options to rebid and enable completion of this project in the future. But at this time, staff is recommending rejection of the one responsive bid due to insufficient funding. With that being the end of my presentation, I'll answer any questions you may have.
Questions? Mr. Dare.
Hi, Brian. Would you mind just taking a moment, making sure people know that the park will not be closing because of this, that we are very sufficient on what we have the timeline? Just clarify that for all
Absolutely,
listening.
absolutely. We're basically going to do some temporary fixes to those infields just to get them through the summer, and we're looking at what we're going to do to reallocate or not reallocate, but to basically rebid those projects and do some value engineering in the future, so.
But all of them are to the safety
they're-
standards needed for your children and for
Yes,
everything that's
absolutely.
happening. I just want you to say that.
No, absolutely, they are, they're safe, and we'll be working on that in the future.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Ms. Bybee.
I'm ready to make a motion.
Okay. Well, Mr. Driscoll, let's go with you first.
Just really quick, I do want to iterate, just so we're clear on the record. We have a reemplacement plan for all of the fields out at Golden Eagle. And our job is to stay in front of replacing and repairing those fields so that they meet or exceed the safety standards and that they are safe to play on, and that they are in such a manner that they maintain the high quality that we have, especially on these fields, which have a heavy play on it, that they have international play, they have national play at all times. And so this has been part of the council's commitment to this recreation facility to stay in front of everything. That's why we have the ability to go back and do the work that Mr. Kaysen's talking about from our standpoint, and we'll be able to work around the schedules and to be able to do the things we need to do to keep this to be the premier softball facility in the United States. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Ms. Bybee,
Do you want another comment?
do you have a comment or do you want a second?
Actually, yeah, if I could just make sure that, I guess, I want to understand, okay, so we're saying this is over budget. Can you help me understand how we're going to be able to deal with that? So obviously, we had 2 bids that were not accepted. So help me understand how we're going to try and get this within our budget.
Well, we're looking at a lot of different options here, but the main ones were we were trying to minimize the downtime on the fields when we put this out to bid. And we're finding that we were going to have them do one field at a time, essentially. We're going to have to actually find a way to still minimize the downtime, but allow the contractor to come in there and just basically do a larger amount of fields at a time, because that takes them takes a lot more money for them to have to keep coming in and out to each field, and it takes them a lot longer to do that. So that increases the cost. There's the access to the fields that we're looking at trying to address that prior to the bid, which will hopefully reduce the costs. And so those 2 main items, along with some other different things we're looking at in the specifications, hopefully will bring those costs down.
So what we're doing, and we're not disregarding the need that it has to be replaced at some point, but we're working with the contractors or prospective contractors to make it more efficient and the bidding to be lower.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
All right, thank you.
Okay, Ms. Bybee.
Okay. And just to follow up on that, because in our notes here, it says that a couple of them were denied because they did not, we couldn't determine if their product met the performance specifications. So because that wasn't included in their bid, you had to reject a couple of the contracts. So is that something as we move forward? Because obviously that's of utmost importance to us, of performance for longevity, for safety, for all of that. So do you think that will put more contractors in the pool, as well as the timing of how they can install it, the actual making sure that they're giving you the specifications that a couple of them did not include? Am I following that correctly?
Yeah, absolutely. Just getting more competition on the bid itself, the specifications, we're going to look at that and see. What they provided just didn't follow what the specifications were actually, what they were supposed to provide in terms of providing an alternative to what we had in there. So we weren't allowed to have them bid on the project, but we're going to look at that and see, while still maintaining a high-quality turf and everything we want in there, there's a few little tweaks we feel that can be done to potentially help bring in more competition with the project.
Okay, perfect. With that, I'm ready to make a motion. I move to reject the one responsive bid for the synthetic turf replacement of softball fields 10 through 14, bid number 18-19-014, PWP WA 2019-071, due to insufficient funding.
Mr. Anderson,
Second the motion?
any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Okay, motion carries unanimously. 9.3, consideration, discussion, and possible approval of a construction contract for Victorian Square Infrastructure Phase 2A project in the amount of $312,890 to NVNJ Construction. Mr. Kaysen again.
Yeah, thank you. Let me bring up the map real quick just to show the project location.
The middle one,
Be on here, but it wasn't.
the middle one. Yeah.
Not the spinning wheel of death.
Yeah.
Victoria Square's old.
Mine was dial-up.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you. Again, good afternoon, Mayor and members of the City Council. For the record, my name is Brian Kaysen, Capital Projects Manager for the City of Sparks. I'm here today to present the Victorian Square Infrastructure Phase 2A project for consideration and possible approval. The purpose of this project is to update and improve the overall aesthetics and safety of the streetscape area along Victorian Avenue. This phase includes the removal and replacement of existing pavers, removal of existing tree planters that have deteriorated over time, construction of new larger tree planters that will not only minimize disruption of the trees during placement, but also accommodate the additional tree growth and provide a larger seating area for the trees during events. The project also includes the removal and replacement of various areas of existing sidewalks in need of replacement, installation of electrical plugs for tree lighting, and a new fence behind the Victorian Avenue Depot building. The area of construction includes the south side of Victorian Avenue in front of the Nugget Casino, from the west side of the Nugget to the Victorian Plaza Circle. So that's this area right here in front of the Nugget. And then also the fence goes in over here behind the Depot building, which is near Pyramid Avenue. There were 6 bids that were submitted, ranging from $312,890 to $509,007, with NVNJ Construction being the low bidder. Staff is recommending NVNJ Construction be awarded the project. With that being said, I will answer any questions you might have.
Questions from the council? Mr. Abbott?
I'm guessing quite similar to what we just did with phase 1.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm ready to make a motion if.
Mr. Dare?
I just want to make sure, keeping on the record, and I know we keep saying it's on our radar, but I really want to know when we get the ballards, when we're going to move forward in getting that. And I know we're talking about getting some other things in place, but in the meantime, we keep having events down there, and we are in a world that this is very important. So I know that's not part of our thing now, but it would be great for it to be soon.
Mr. Driscoll?
Thank you. In response, the project team has been working on a final iteration on that, and so we'll be meeting, I believe, no later than next week on that to see where we are, to see if we're ready to bring it forward. What we were looking at is we started out with what was a fairly simple idea with a couple of choke points and realized there was much more to it based on the type of events that we have. And so we're trying to come into a solution that does what we need for the safety of our visitors and the safety of our first responders and be within a reasonable budget. Because there was a lot we could do with a lot more money than you allotted us. So that project is almost complete.
Thank you, sir.
And I think our new amphitheater kind of threw us a little bit of a curveball.
Made us think about a couple things differently, correct?
Okay, we're looking forward to that. All right, I'm looking for a motion, Ms. Bybee, or was it Mr. Abbott? Sorry.
His world.
Take it. I move to approve the construction contract AC 5549 for the Victorian Square Infrastructure Phase 2A project, bid number 18/19-015 PWP WA-2019-075 in the amount of $312,890 to NVNJ Construction.
Second, Ms. Bybee.
I'll second that.
Any further questions, discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Casey. On to 9.4. Allison, welcome. All right, consideration, discussion, and possible direction to the city attorneys concerning whether to appeal a preliminary injunction in Greyhound Lines, Inc. versus the City of Sparks. We'll just leave it at that.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem and City Council. For the record, Assistant City Attorney Allison McCormick. In December of 2018, Greyhound Lines, Inc., or Greyhound, filed a lawsuit against the city of Sparks, seeking a court order to compel the city to issue Greyhound a business license to operate in Centennial Plaza located on Victorian Avenue. On December 21st, 2018, the district court issued a temporary restraining order compelling the city to issue Greyhound a business license. A business license was therefore issued on December 24th, 2018, and Greyhound began operating at Centennial Plaza shortly thereafter. A hearing regarding whether the temporary restraining order should be kept in place as a preliminary injunction was held on January 8th, 2019. And after that hearing on January 22nd, 2019, the district court issued the preliminary injunction, which enables Greyhound to continue operating in Centennial Plaza while the litigation plays out. Although a preliminary injunction is not a final judgment or order, an order issuing a preliminary injunction may be appealed. You have 30 days within which to appeal from a preliminary injunction. This agenda item informs the City Council of its right to appeal and gives the City Council the opportunity to decide a very narrow question, whether to appeal from the District Court's preliminary injunction. There are a lot of moving pieces in the litigation, and this is just one of them. And again, the question you're being asked today is a narrow one. The City Attorney recommends not appealing the preliminary injunction. If you decline to appeal from the preliminary injunction, you would still be able to appeal from any final order or judgment that would ultimately be issued in the case. If you choose not to appeal the preliminary injunction, as is being recommended by the City Attorney's Office, the second motion listed in the staff report would be the appropriate motion. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions? Mr. Dare?
I just want to share on the record, I think it's probably wise, I mean, obviously you guys have a lot of wisdom with our attorneys, but I agree that it's probably wise to move forward and seeing what happens with all our planning commission and all. But I want to put on the record very clearly that I don't believe any business should be able to come into a city and tell us what we should do with our zoning or how that functions. We don't do that with anybody else, and I don't believe we should do that with Greyhound. So I do expect and hope that they're willing to comply with the things that we're asking for. I don't mind putting on the record that I don't totally appreciate how Reno and things have handled this. And so I believe there's a better way to move forward. So whoever out there's listening, we can have coffee if you'd like, but I'm happy to have that conversation. But I think at the point we're at now, I see the wisdom in letting this unfold. And that's putting the same, nothing extra, whatever, with the same zoning we would expect from other people moving into this area, doing something of this sort. I'd like to see that there. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Ms. Bybee?
I would just like to state for the record that I do not, right now Greyhound is operating illegally against our city code with regard to pick up and drop off areas, loading zones. There's nowhere for cars to go in. And yet through a court order, after Greyhound was not able to work it out with RTC in Reno, they're here in Sparks and operating contrary to our city codes. So I have a real issue with that. However, I would like to look down the road. I don't know that the appeal today, that appealing it would be in our best interest. I do respect the city attorney's opinion on this, but in moving forward, my position on this does not mean I support in any way where we are with Greyhound and with the city's rights to make judgment and enforce our own codes. So I just wanted to state that, but I do appreciate that your input and the recommendation from the city attorney. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Dare?
One last thing, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention. So when they were here, they mentioned that to RTC and then to us, that they would have security there. And it sounds a little bit to me with some of what I hear going on down there from other businesses.
Mr. Dare, can I just stop you for a second? Because we're getting a little far off of field here.
Fair enough.
So this was not the question. The question is whether to appeal or not.
Okay.
And the operations of Greyhound is not at subject today.
I'd like to have coffee with them too then.
Okay. All right, any other questions? I'm looking for a motion. Ms. Bybee,
I move to direct the city attorney to refrain from appealing from the preliminary injunction issued in Greyhound Lines, Inc. versus City of Sparks, case number CV 18-02394.
Mr. Abbott,
I will second that.
thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Come on. There we go.
Thank you.
Motion carries unanimously. On to 9.5. Consideration, discussion, and possible approval of a contract with Brown and Caldwell, Inc. to prepare a facility plan for the Truckee Meadows Water Reclamation Facility in the amount not to exceed $1,240,231, with the City of Sparks' share of that being $400,963.45. I'm not sure where 45 cents comes from, but why wouldn't it be 50 cents?
Thank you. Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, members of council, Michael Drinkwater, Treatment Plant Manager. To the Mayor Pro Tem's direct question, the fee is pro rata based on flow. Currently, the City of Sparks share is approximately 1/3 or 33%. So do the math and you end up with the pennies. So, no,
I just think that's funny to me personally.
okay, you know.
We list
but-
all these hundreds and millions of dollars and then you come down to 43 cents.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry to get you off.
No, you got me up. So, you have before you today consideration of the approval of a contract with Brown and Caldwell Engineering to perform a facility plan for the Truckee Meadows Water Reclamation Facility. Facility plan performs several vital functions. You know, it'll take a comprehensive evaluation of our existing facilities and equipment, take a look at our current processes that we use to treat the water, take a look at potentially what processes we might have to add in order to stay in compliance with our discharge permit up to, we gave the consultant the target of 42 million gallons a day. The reason we chose that is what our best guess at complete build out of the valley, that's the flow that Tumwharf could reasonably expect to see. So the consultant will work backwards from that to identify those milestones where we may have to build new processes or expand existing processes, as well as rehabilitate some of the existing infrastructure in order to be in compliance through that horizon. So it's not a time horizon, it's a flow horizon, because it's not our job to try to guess when the community is going to reach build out. We don't build homes or businesses, we treat the wastewater. So we just did it in terms that we can understand. When we hit certain flow or loading parameters, we know that we need to have certain infrastructure available. To that end, a facility plan has not been done at Tumwharf in several decades. So it's essentially starting from zero. It's going to start at the old plant. So we still have some 1964 construction hanging in there, doing a job every day, but it does have a finite service life. We'd like to understand what that means, as well as some of the newer stuff. We put this out for a request for qualifications. 4 engineering firms submitted. We interviewed them. We had members from Reno, Washoe County, as well as the City of Sparks, Public Works teams on the interview panel. At the end of the day, Brown and Caldwell, we thought, had the best approach and the most qualified team. We negotiated a scope and fee for the work with that team, which is what's before you today for your consideration. I believe, as the treatment plant manager, this is a necessary thing for us to give us the guidance we need moving forward in managing not only the day-to-day operations, but the capital improvement program as we move into the next several years. And we're start butting up against some of those discharge limits. So having said all that, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Questions? No questions?
I do.
Mr. Dare.
I just want to say for the record that when we met and got to hear a little bit about this, I think it's important because this is a lot of money. My first question was, oh my gosh, that's a lot of money. Why is that? But then looking at this is a very large commitment from them for a year, if not more, giving us a plan, and it's a bridge into our future. We've went through, we know where we're at in this, what we have to do for the future. This is really the first step in that bridge of us having some answers, of knowing how the future technology could even work with what we have. And so it's just important, anybody out there wondering about that, how much it is, and things like that, it is going to be our main playbook for the future, and so it becomes a very important necessity. So just wanted to point that out, and thank you for your work.
Ms. Bybee.
I would like to say I appreciate the fact that obviously more than 20 years since we've done this, critically important, especially important now because right now with the growth we're seeing in the region, the limiting factor we have for this region is sewer treatment. It's not water, it's sewer treatment. And the plant is an old plant, and the technology we need and the nitrogen in the river are all factors that will limit or stop our growth and affect our, everyday citizens and businesses here now and the ones coming later. So I think the investment that we make in the sewer treatment plant to run as efficiently as we can, the improvements that we need to come up with and the technology changes are critically important to the whole community and to our region as we grow. So thank you for the work you're doing, and I think this is a critically important piece of that plan, future plan. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Looking for a motion. Mr. Abbott?
Let me go on my time. I move to approve the contract AC 5550 with Brown and Caldwell, Inc. to prepare a facility plan for Truckee Meadows Water Reclamation Facility for an amount not to exceed $1,240,231.00 with the City of Sparks' share of $400,963, and most importantly, 45 cents.
Thank you. This is one of my favorite things about, it's the little things in life you gotta enjoy, man. Any further, so I'm looking for a second, Mr. Anderson?
Second the motion.
Thank you. Any further questions or comments? Seeing none, please vote. Motion carries unanimous. Thank you, Mr. Drinkwater. Moving on, number 10, we don't have any public items. Planning and zoning, public hearings for action items, 11.1. Public hearing, discussion of possible certification of a comprehensive plan amendment to change the land use designation on a site approximately 1.9 acres in size located at 2101 Sullivan Lane in Sparks, Nevada, from large residential lot to commercial. Karen.
Good afternoon, Mayor Pro Tem and Council. I'm Karen Melby, Development Service Manager. Actually, before you is items 11.1 and 11.2 are comprehensive plan amendment and rezoning for the same property. So I wanted to ask you if you want me to do one presentation and then
Yes, ma'am.
you'll have to, okay.
Thank you.
So this consists of two items. The first is the comprehensive plan amendment, and the second would be a rezoning. This is for a property that is outlined in cyan here. It's 1.9 acres. The street address is 2101 Sullivan Lane. The first request is for a comprehensive plan amendment. The current property, the property upon annexation has comprehensive plan amendment designation of large lot residential, and they are requesting to change it to commercial. This is the proposed land use. The rezoning is, right now the property is zoned SF15, which is 15,000 square foot lots, and they're requesting to change it to commercial. City Council approved the annexation of this property on July 23rd, 2018. I'd like to address the 4 findings for comprehensive plan amendments. CP1 is the conformance with the regional plan, which can be made because the property is currently served by city infrastructure and services, including sanitary sewer, storm drainage, fire, and police. CP2 is the implementation of the comprehensive plan. Because the comprehensive plan amendment complies with the goals MG1, policies MG4 and CF1, since the applicant proposes to redevelop the property as a non-residential land use, and the subject property is already served by city utilities and services. Finding CP3, which is the compatibility with the surrounding land uses, can be made because the site is located in a very active area. The Sullivan Lane is classified as a collector in the Regional Transportation Plan, and for 2018, the NDOT, or Nevada Department of Transportation, traffic counts at Whittakin Way and Sullivan Lane was 3,400 average daily trips, so a commercial land use isn't a reasonable request. Finding CP4, which is public notice. The public notice was published in the Reno Gazette Journal on September 20th, 2018. The neighborhood meeting was held on September 25th in 2018 with 3 people attending. Next, addressing the rezoning request. In the staff report, there is a table comparing the permitted uses by the existing zoning SF15 to proposed C2. I will not cover that for you today. If you're interested, it's in my staff report. Covering the 3 findings, the first one, Z1, is consistent with the comprehensive plan. As I stated, under CP2, this can be found to be compatible. Finding Z2, which is consistent with the surrounding existing land uses. The surrounding area is a mix of single-family homes, 2 schools, a commercial uses, and making this request compatible with the surrounding area. Is located on a collector with about 3,400 average daily trips. Finding Z3 is the public notice in public, which was published again on in the Reno Gazette Journal on September 20th, 2018. There were 118 notices mailed on September 18, 2018 to the properties within 750 feet of this property. Just as a reminder, you will have to open a public hearing for each item and also have a separate motion for each item. That concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions.
Okay, let me go to public hearing first. This is a public hearing. Anyone in the public wishing to speak at this time regarding item 11.1 or 11.2? Okay, bring it back. Question or comments from the council on 11.1 specifically? Seeing none, I'm looking for a motion.
This is your word. Do you want to do it?
Go ahead, Mr. Anderson. I don't want to multitask too many things. I might screw this up.
I move based on findings CP1 through CP4 as set forth in the staff report to certify the comprehensive plan, land use amendment MPA 18-0003 associated with PCN 18-042 to change a land use designation on site approximately 1.9 acres in size located at 2101 Sullivan Lane, Sparks, Nevada, from large lot residential to commercial.
Mr. Dare.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any further comment or questions? Seeing none, please vote. Okay, motion passes unanimously. Let's move on to item 11.2. Do I need to call this one open again, Mr. Adams? Do I need to open it for a public hearing again?
You've already made that opportunity available, but it never hurts.
All right. We'll open it for public comment. Anyone from the public wishing to speak at this time? Seeing none, we'll bring it back to the table. Any questions, comments, or I'm looking for a motion? Mr. Dare.
I'll make a motion. I move based on findings Z1 through Z3 as set forth in the staff report to adopt Bill 2754 to rezone real property approximately 1.9 acres in size located at 2101 Sullivan Lane, Sparks, Nevada, from SF15, single-family residential, 15,000 square feet, to C2, general commercial.
Ms. Bybee.
I'll second that.
Okay, any further discussion or comments from the council? Seeing none, please vote. Okay, motion carries unanimously. All right, very speedy meeting, people. Thank you very much.
12. You got a
I'm
few.
getting there. Comments, do I have any further comments from the public? Mr. Bill, you ruined my fast meeting. Come on, Miss Bill, come up here.
Still set a record, I think.
Please fill out a comment card for us,
Yes, I
Mr.
will.
Wagner.
We'll do
Thank
that,
you.
Mr. Pro Tem. The question I had is 9.3. I know you folks can't answer it again. Maybe I'll talk to Stephen about it afterwards. But how does a bid come in at $500,000 and we win it at $300,000? How can somebody be $200,000 off? Now, did we miss something in this bid, original bid? Or is this guy didn't want the job?
Well, I'm gonna have you talk with Steve about that because he's intimately aware of what the problem is.
Okay, thank you.
That was it?
That's it.
Perfect. Thank you. All right, comments from the mayor? Unless I have anyone else in the public wishing to speak first? Seeing none. Comments from the mayor, city council, city manager, Mr. Manager?
No, sir.
Anyone else on the council? Christopher Dare.
I just want to invite anybody who wants to come out. March 29th, we have our groundbreaking for the Nevada Veterans Memorial at the Marina at 10 a.m. All are invited, and it's, from what I hear, the first 300 guests, we have a little, there's a special little prize we're going to give them for coming on out, for the first 300 people come. So we believe it's going to be a great day, and yes, City of Sparks employees are allowed to get that gift too, I think. So, awesome. Come on out.
Okay, Ms. Bybee.
I just wanted to give a shout out to our Public Works Department and all the people out there working roads and the road crews all weekend for the amount of snow that we got in this valley. I was just so impressed to look at the streets and the condition they were in and staying on top of it for the safety of our residents and our businesses. I think they did a top-notch job, and a lot of times we forget those guys that are out there in the middle of it, in the storm, doing the hard work. I don't want to ever take them for granted, so big shout out to that crew.
Thank you. Mr. Abbott?
Can I ask a hard question? Who got us these cups?
That's a good question.
They're pretty nice, America. Bill?
Mr. Wagner?
Wow.
Did you give
Thank you.
those to the council? Thank you very much.
Did you give this?
Yeah. American flag.
Thank you,
Police,
Bill.
police chief's jealous. Oh, he got, sorry. He mouths at me, he got one. All right, anybody else? Seeing none, we are adjourned.